Hey everyone, Captain JGB84. Yeah, can't speak. I know robots are making a comeback in cinema. I mean, we've got Age of Ultron coming out this year about a robot, so sweet. But every now and again, you do get that kind of stinker, though, when it comes to following the trends. That, unfortunately, is in the form of Chappie. Now, I'll get this off right out of the way. I'll get this out of the way right away. The best thing about Chappie is Chappie himself as a character and just what is sort of the idea centered around him. Everything else, though, is where the movie falls apart. So, in the present day, I think the film takes place 2016, which, yeah, because clearly we have robots running around. The whole premise is that, like, yeah, okay, these robots, Chappie is, like, part of this robot police squad. You know, they're made of, like, titanium, they can take hits like a champ, you know, shoot like an RPG, shoot like a rocket launcher at them, yeah, they'll take a hit, obviously. But they're basically, like, big guns that can't be brought down. Anyways, Dave Patel plays a guy named Dion Wilson. He's the guy who created the robots. And what it is, he's always tried to achieve full artificial intelligence. Like, you know, having a robot think and feel on his or her own. Which I thought, okay, that's fascinating. There are a lot of directions that could go. And then he decides to go the really shitty direction. The movie really isn't about Dave Patel's character and how he sort of creates this artificial intelligence program, or, excuse me, intelligence program, or, like, you know, him with Chappie. No. What it is, these two criminals, Ninja and Yolandi, and, okay, red flag right away. I bought this today, so yay. Red flag, these two characters, Ninja and Yolandi, they are, South African singers, from what I understand, and they play themselves. No other way to put it. They play themselves. Which I thought, okay, that's a red flag. For one, why are you putting singers in a movie, like a fairly big budget film, as basically your lead characters? That's a red flag. And two, why are they playing themselves? Oh, whatever. And I've seen interviews with these two, like, you know, just leading up to the film. And then I saw the film, I'm like, they just play themselves, like scripted versions of themselves. It's just, what? Why? Why was that needed? And look, I get it, Neil Blomkamp. Like, you're South African, you take pride in your country, but do you always have to shove it everywhere? I get it, you're from South Africa. You love it there, I'm assuming. You love filming there, but for Christ's sake, like, they say Michael Bay is so American about everything. This guy's just, But then but also you had the American flags running around a lot. Anyways, so Dave Patel's character actually gets kidnapped by Ninja and Yolandi because, excuse me, because what it is, this is what the film really focuses on. These two bonehead criminals and their other third guy, I think his name was America or something, I don't know. What it is, they did some jobs for this one guy and they owe him $20 million or something because I don't fucking know. Anyways, they decide to kidnap Dave Patel because, hey, he created the robots, because the robots are always causing the problems for the criminals. So he thinks, okay, we'll just kidnap him and tell him to turn them off. But they don't turn off, I guess is the problem. Instead, they find, Dave Patel takes, like a damaged version of one of these robots, decides to test his artificial intelligence program on it. Instead, he has to put the artificial intelligence program onto this robot, and it's basically going to be raised by these two criminals. And that right there was just the, okay, I'm sorry, like, no, the film should not have been about that. Can't speak. Why can't I speak? What was I trying to say? The film should not have been about that. No. Having Chappie be raised by these two friggin' criminals because Dave Patel just so happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and, like, just undermines what this film's trying to do. It's trying to say 20 different things all at the same time. It's like it's almost like I think my Bandit Incorporated in his yeah, I can't speak in the his video on Prometheus, the like, does it pass or fail, all that, which that was really good. I recommend checking it out. He mentions that Prometheus brings up all these ideas, all these themes, but then it just moves on to the next one. Except Chappie tries to keep them going, even though there's nothing really to keep going with them. Like, if you ask me, the film should have been about like, like Dave Patel creating Chappie, giving him the intelligence to think like a human, to have consciousness, to have thoughts, feelings, to create his own art, which he does in the film. That was done well. And then maybe all the negative repercussions that could come with that. Repercussions. Like, all the... Like, in a sense, it should have been about, like, Dion's character, Dave Patel. In a sense, he was like being God. He was creating life out of data. And really, if it focused on that, like him creating, Chappie and trying to like make him more human, and then that writes itself basically, because then you can sit there going, well, what is human? Like, can we put consciousness onto machines? Could it have sentient thoughts? Could it create poetry? Could it create art? Could it have an opinion on art? Like, the fact that it decided to focus on this, like, oh yeah, he gets kidnapped by criminals, it was dumb! It was fucking dumb! Like, what the hell? There was no reason for that. Admittedly, though, it does get a little better towards the end, though it does get a little bit silly at times towards the end. One bit in particular, I'm like, okay, I can see where that was going, but that was kind of silly. What? Because, there's always the things like, is human consciousness, is it like limited or is it ever expanding? That's sort of like what the core like idea that actually does run through the film fairly well is trying to ask. But at the same time, it's like what Jeremy Johns said his Interstellar spoiler review. He was saying that it's almost kind of spoiling. You know what? I'm going to spoil the film. I don't fucking care. It's almost like basically the film ends with saying, yeah, the human consciousness can be made just via data. Chappie manages to transfer Dave Patel's character into a robot his like consciousness into a robot body. And I thought, all right, so human consciousness or consciousness in general is like, it can be just created through data or transferred like data. Much like how in the Jeremy Johns Interstellar spoiler, he was saying that Interstellar was proving that love is quantifiable. Yeah, spoiler warning. Sorry, folks. But on the bleh to yay scale, it gets a it gets an eh. It could have been so much more, but it just I don't know why focus on that. I mean, look, it was something a bit more. It was kind of unique. It's like, well, hey, what if it's like he's raised to be a criminal? He's just like the best bit. I think the best scene though was when he's brought online for the first time. He's like a little child. He doesn't know how to act. He doesn't understand English. He doesn't understand like human touch or anything. And like Dave Patel, he's just trying to raise him. Really, well, not really raise him. Just trying to like get him to act human, I guess. And then, you got these two criminals going, why the fuck aren't you working? And also, are you telling me that 8 PS4s are powerful enough to transfer human consciousness? I mean, I know the PS4 is fairly powerful, but what? Yeah, that's Chappie for you. I might be all over the place, but it kind of made me mad, really. It could have been so much more, but why wasn't it? And then don't even get me started on Hugh Jackman's character. You know what, I'm going to leave it at that. Hugh Jackman's just bumbling around the entire movie. It's like, I don't like artificial intelligence. I'm a war guy. I like to drop my fucking nukes everywhere we go. And makes like this thing that looks like it's out of Metal Gear Solid or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. But that was Chappie in a nutshell. You heard it here from Captain, folks. But yeah, not very good. but it could have been so much more. I think it's just, maybe it's more of just star power, or just like, maybe Neil Blomkamp's gotten a little too big, maybe, I don't know. I mean, look, in all honesty, I don't really like his films that much. I didn't like District 9 very much. I didn't like Elysium very much. I think out of those three, I think District 9 is the best. Elysium had a few nice bits, but it's unbelievably preachy. Just, Elysium. District 9 a bit as well, but not as much, but, he's making the fifth Alien film, so that's exciting, I guess. But I don't really know what else to say. It's apart from just, Neil Blomkamp, get your shit together. But that's all I have to say. So, did you like Chappie? I think it has some decent bits. And I don't think it's as bad as it's made out to be. And also, yeah, a lot of slow motion towards the end. Yeah, okay, slow motion works well if it's used once and maybe sort of shock value. If it's used constantly, that doesn't work. All like the whole final thing, it's like slow motion, regular slow motion, regular slow motion. Okay, I'm all over the place. Anyways, Chappie fucking sucks. See ya.